Hello, everyone. Happy, happy, happy full moon. I am here for our full moon goddess oracle card readings. Excited to be here. Excited to pull some cards and channel some messages from the goddesses for everyone. If you are here live, say hello. Let me know that you're here. Let me know where you are here from and we'll start to get going. So for this live, what I like to do is I will be using my Goddess Guidance Oracle cards. This is one of my oldest, very oldest Oracle card decks, my tried and true, to channel some goddess messages. And I like to start with doing a collective card. So for everybody who watches this reading, is here live, watches on replay, a bit of wisdom from the goddesses for all of us. And then we can start to get into some individual card pulls. Now, you may need to be subscribed to the channel in order to comment in the chat. I think that's how it works. So, still kind of new at this whole going live things. So, if you are trying to post a message and you don't see it, try hitting that subscribe button and then doing it again, giving it a few minutes and then doing it again. And I think that's about it. If you're new here, you don't know me, by the way, my name is Liz. I'm an intuitive coach and healer. And in my work, I love working with conscious women to help them heal themselves, step into their power, including their divine feminine God, inner goddess power, and their step into their intuitive gifts and manifest soul aligned lives that they love. So all of my work is kind of focused on that. The messages that come through the goddesses from the goddesses are about helping you navigate your journey and step into your empowerment and your most soul aligned life. And so that's what we're going to do today. Okay, so let me start off with a message for all of us. So I'm just shuffling, setting the intention to receive a message that's for our highest good at this time. I love it. Okay, so our message is Mother Mary, expect a miracle. Have faith that your prayers have been heard and are being answered. Okay, so this definitely resonates for me. I mean, I know that there are things in my life I'm desiring, I'm calling forward, I'm manifesting ways that I want to grow and evolve spiritually, ways that I want to step into my power more and more and more, and experiences I want to call in for myself. And so this card really feels like a beautiful confirmation that if you're in that same place, if you are desiring shifts or changes or specific things coming in for you, um, expect a miracle. Keep your eyes, your attention, your energy on an attitude of openness, hopefulness, knowing that what is meant for you will come to you in the right divine timing. And in that way, we open to miracles being able to happen. Um, and Mother Mary is such a beautiful, loving energy. And she comes in with a message of, I'm feeling a message of compassion for yourself, that in your journey right now, to focus on finding grace and compassion for yourself and forgiving yourself for things that you perceive as mistakes or failures, really like tending to your own heart and seeing how life is always unfolding, and there's always opportunity for new and for a miracle to happen. Every second, every moment, every new day is an opportunity for a miracle to happen. And so she wants you to stay in touch with that hopeful, optimistic energy. Also, the more that you move in alignment with your heart, and connected to yourself in that way, the more you open up the energy for things that are in alignment for you to feel like miracles unfolding in your life. Okay, so this feels definitely like a very positive message, a message of love, support, compassion, tenderness, gentleness, and to be reassured that your miracles that you're wishing for are possible. Okay, beautiful collective message. I don't know about you guys, but always something I need to hear on the journey. So, as I'm waiting for anybody who would like a card, I will start to pull cards of people who are in my Facebook group that I always invite them to put down their name for a card to watch on the replay so that they can get a message in the Facebook group. So if you're interested in being part of that community, that free Facebook community called the Empathic Goddess Haven, please come and join us. There's a link to it in the description. Um, we do lots of fun stuff in there. We do some challenges, some energy healing, more card pulls. You have the opportunity to ask for a card to watch on replay if you can't make the lives, different things. Okay, so first we're going to pull a card for Melissa. Melissa T. Melissa, we have the card Pele, Divine Passion, for you. And the card itself says, be honest with yourself. What is your heart's true desire? So to me, it feels like, um, excuse me, very much tapping into what do you feel passionate about? What do you feel excited about? What really just like lights you up? And doing as much of that as possible and moving toward those things in your life. I'm hearing a like a be courageous. Don't don't be afraid to take steps toward those things that you are truly passionate about because they are meant for you. That's why they inspire passion within you. Secondly, I'm kind of getting the fiery, almost destructive energy of Pele in the sense of burning away what doesn't serve you anymore, And the phrase that came up for me was like, don't be afraid to burn it down, whatever it is. So this can be internal things like limiting mindsets, etc., burning those away. You may even want to do a fire-based ritual where you write down what it is that you're wanting to release and safely burn it and offer it up to the universe, offer it up to Pele. And another thing that's coming through is like if there's something in your life that just doesn't suit you anymore, doesn't feel like it's aligned with where you're wanting to go and with the things that bring you divine passion, it is okay to let those things go. And with Pele, she's a volcano goddess, and so she does kind of when she explodes and the volcano erupts and lava goes everywhere, it does kind of clear the way, burn things away that are in some ways no longer serving anymore. And then as the lava cools, it mixes in and creates this very fertile soil that new things can grow in, right? And that's why part of why Hawaii is so like green and lush and stuff. It's that soil that has those volcanic elements in it. So, know that the things that don't feel in alignment, that you are courageous enough to release, leave space for the new things that you want to grow. Okay. Beautiful. Melissa, I hope that resonates. Hi, Tina. Good to see you. Yes, definitely. We can do a card. Let's do it. So calling a card for Gina. Something she needs to hear. Okay. So your card, Gina, is Nematona. And it says sacred space. Create an altar or visit a power place to connect with the divine. Okay. And so, definitely if this is something that you don't already have within your house, Gina, like a certain space where you feel like you've set it aside to connect with yourself, connect with your soul, connect with the goddesses if that resonates with you, or the divine, however you think about that. This is a good reminder that it is extremely helpful to have that kind of space in your house to go through. It helps to anchor you, helps to bring you clarity and calm by having this reserved space that's just for that. You build that intention the more you sit in that space for yourself. So certainly there's that very like straightforward message, or if there's a certain place you like to go in order to do that process. Um, and that resonates with you, do take that message. However, when I tune into Nematona and the sacred space, I get even more than that, a sense of quiet and like being hushed in a positive way, like, sort of like a soft space that feels very relaxing, like a sanctuary that brings in calm, and having that like space and time um to reflect. So, if you feel like you've been going recently, if you feel like you haven't had a chance to slow down, haven't had a chance to check in with yourself, to process things, to come back to yourself, to be in alignment with yourself, I feel like that's the guidance here, to give yourself that time and space, and that it is sacred, right? That you are sacred. And so giving yourself that time and space to connect with yourself and to have those kinds of sacred experiences is very helpful and important, and will leave you feeling, I feel like, very refreshed and very clear moving forward. So, Gina, I hope that makes sense and I hope that resonates. Okay. Now, let me check in here. We did Melissa. Now I will do, it's been too long. Yeah. Sometimes life gets really frantic and we just have to think about, okay, how do I slow down and reprioritize that time with myself, that space in my life? And sometimes it's challenging to do, but usually we can find a way. Um, okay, so let's do a message now for Sharon. Hmm, okay, Sharon, we have Pele coming back up for you. So she says, once again, divine passion. Be honest with yourself. What is your heart's true desire? And Sharon, I'm really getting an energy here of really, okay, well, I'm going to say this part, but I actually think you've already done this part a little bit. But just in case, I'm going to say this part out loud. Really taking the time to figure out what you really want and what is important to you, and like, what you want your life to look like, or your work to look like, or your relationship to look like, or what are the values that are important for you. I think you've already done this, but continue with an eye toward figuring that out. But even more than that, I'm getting, and then make sure what you're actually doing is in alignment with those things. So don't settle for things that are not in alignment with it. Um, pay attention to any areas where you feel like you start moving away from what is in alignment for you, or what it is that you truly want for yourself in the future. It's kind of a challenging thing. Being a human is a challenging thing sometimes, right? There are things that we want, things that we know are the best for us, but sometimes, because of our emotions, our wounds, often our like nervous system dysregulation, if that ever happens for you, we can make choices that on the conscious level, we know on some level this is not like where I want to go and like what I want my life to be. Yet in the moment, it's somehow either like comforting or soothing or familiar, or lets us stay safe in a certain way. And I know that for myself. I know, just a quick example. Sometimes I will feel some energy of like anger or frustration at my husband. He's generally doesn't frustrate me, but every once in a while that comes up. And I'm sure that comes up within him for me too, as because we're normal human beings. And my ideal self, the the person I want to be and what I always want to be moving toward is being able to have like really clear, conscious communication, express my feelings authentically, allow myself to be seen within that process and my emotions to be honored, talk things out with him, receive his perspective, receive his support, etc. And most of the time I can get there, but sometimes I like to wallow in being angry. And I will sit there and make myself more and more angry. And even though it doesn't feel good on some level, it does feel like there's like a weird satisfaction to it. And this is a perfect example of how like we can consciously want something to go in one direction and know who we want to be, but sometimes we have other um impulses, right? And so it does take some awareness, some noticing when that's happening, and doing something to release the energy of whatever it is that is not in alignment that we're doing, and then making the conscious choice over and over, choosing to be in alignment with what our heart's true desire is. And so I feel like that's the message for you, Sharon, to stay focused on that process and keep moving in that direction. And definitely, we all stumble on that process. We all face challenges in it. So it's not about judging yourself when you do. In fact, going back to the Mother Mary card we pulled at the beginning, it's about having grace and compassion with yourself, but keep going, keep on the path, keep going on the journey. Okay. So that is the message, Sharon. I hope that resonates and that makes sense. Okay, let us get a message for Cassidy, Cassidy B. Hmm. Cassidy, your card, your goddess is Solis, bodies of water. And she says, spend time near water, such as a lake, river, or the ocean, to recharge your batteries. Okay. So I feel like that on that surface level is definitely a straightforward message for you, Cassidy. So if you have an opportunity to do that, take advantage of it. If you can be by by the river, by a lake, if you're having planning any trips to go toward the ocean, now is a good time to do that. It's going to be very cleansing and healing for you. But even if you can't do that, even if you're not around any specific bodies of water, you can do that in the shower. You can do that in the bath. Spend some time in water, asking for cleansing, for clarity, for flow. I'm hearing um, that there's going to be something really healing about being connected to the water element for you, Cassidy. And I feel like we've gone this card for you before, Cassidy. So it may be just generally you have a connection to water and that it's helpful to you. So another energy I'm getting from this Solis card, Cassidy, is going back to that idea of flow. I feel like there's a call to soften, to surrender, and like allow like the river current to take you where you need to go, right? Just almost a feeling of like just floating in the water. Sometimes, in life we want to control things, we want to know exactly what's going to happen or where we're going, and we can't always know that. And if we did, sometimes it wouldn't work out quite as well as if we kind of just let go and trust the process and allow ourselves to be led by the divine, by the universe, however you want to think about it, right? And it's like floating. um, when you tense up, when you try to grip, that's when you sink. And I've learned this because I had a hard time learning how to float because it's hard for me to relax in water. But it's a lesson I'm very in touch with right now. When you tense up, you sink. When you surrender and you trust that the water is going to hold you and you let go of that tension and that contraction, you float, and then you just are taken along to whatever it is that you need to be taken along to. So it feels like that is part of the message for you, Cassidy. I hope that makes sense and that resonates. Okay, if you are here live, say hello. I would love to hear from you in the chat. I always like to connect to the community here on YouTube and to my lovely ladies from the Facebook group if you're here. And if you want a card, please feel free to let me know in the chat. If you're having a trouble posting in the chat, it might be that you need to be subscribed. So if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, give it a few moments, and then try posting again, and hopefully it will come through. Let me just double check here. Okay. Now let me go on to my next person. I have a card for Bailey. Okay, Bailey, your card is Bast, also known as Bastet, independent. She is the Egyptian cat goddess. Your independence is a foundation for your strength and success. Okay. And so, Bailey, I'm kind of getting this energy around like trusting yourself to be strong enough to do things on your own. And certainly like receiving support can be very helpful. I'm always a proponent of that, and it's something that I think most of the time we all need to work on more, receiving, asking for and receiving support. But this card has more of the energy of um like you don't need other people's um support, opinions, permission, uh, or presence necessarily to do the things that you're wanting to do. Trust that you are strong enough and independent enough to do them on your own if necessary. Now, I don't want to give the impression that you have to do things on your own. I think this is just a card to remind you that Bastet is really like coming through to remind you that you are like, the way I'm hearing it is like independent queen. So you can allow people to support you, but you are in charge of where you want to go. And you know that you can be okay whether or not that they are there or not. Um, yeah, that feels like the message, Bailey. I hope that makes sense and that resonates. Okay. So that is the last person on my list. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. Always beautiful to channel messages from the goddesses. I do love doing that. Now, in terms of our next live experiences, I'll be posting a live energy healing and another live full moon reading for June. I have to set those things up. So you'll see that being announced in the community tab for June, the dates of that. I'd love to also welcome you over to my Facebook group if you'd like to join me there and join that community. And I think that's about it for now. So I look forward to seeing you on the next live and the next video that I post. And I wish you a wonderful full moon. And may this full moon shine its light on you and help you realize all of your dreams. Okay.